Hi everybody, this is Dear Mama Sal, and I thought I'd show you my first peony of the year. Isn't that beautiful? Well, good morning everybody, this is Dear Mama Sal on a very, very delightful Thursday morning. Yay, it's Thursday. For those of you who don't know, I don't work on Fridays, so Thursday is my Friday. It's 8 degrees here in British Columbia, which would make it 47 in American. I like to call it that. It's not a cloud in the sky. Beautiful, beautiful day. A day to be very happy. And I just wanted to quickly do some feedback on the vlog I did yesterday, because I wanted to acknowledge Alice for sending me a note about how she really noticed the fact that when I started to talk about entitlement yesterday, that my throat completely misbehaved. And that's all I can say, it just misbehaved. And it was really strange because it was strange for some hours. It wasn't just in that moment that I was talking about it. My throat had a problem, or it wasn't so much that it was a sore throat feeling. It was like almost a closing. And I mean, it wasn't what do you call it? You see, here I go again. I gotta get a sense of humor at this. It wasn't an allergic type reaction. It was just the fact that I had a problem talking about it, and I was interested after it had happened, and again when Alice remarked on it, that I looked at it and went, am I embarrassed that I had a privileged upbringing? And I'm going to call it privileged because, you know, I think it was to a very large degree. I mean, it was very close to Downton Abbey. The difference perhaps was that you know, they actually still had a gong for dinner. I don't think we've seen that too often. I'm sure Downton Abbey had that too. But you know, it was like really weird. And yes, my family dressed for dinner. Now the question is, why did we do that? I have no idea, but it was what we did. So I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that Alice had talked about it in a note to me. And my question to myself was I embarrassed about it? Well, I want to tell you something just so that it's not what Alice asked me, but it's something that I was asking myself. Why did my body have this reaction? And I just want to make sure that you understand, I am so grateful for the upbringing that I had. Even though I wasn't allowed to go to university. And that's a whole nother story. But I am really very, very grateful for the fact that I was given a very good education. I was taught to speak well, with a vocabulary that is way beyond what you hear me use today, because if I used it, nobody would understand me half the time. And that was the first thing I had to do when I came to North America, was drop half my vocabulary. Because really it was not appreciated. And in order to be understood, literally, I I either had to have an interpreter standing next to me, which for a long time I did. My assistant used to travel with me when I was on speaking tours and in certain places, and she would literally translate for people. She'd say, well, what she means by that is so and so. But no, I'm not embarrassed about it. I am really very grateful. I am pretty sure that I gained a great deal from the education that I got. Here we go again. All right, so and I wanted to make that point because I didn't want anybody to think that I didn't appreciate that. By the way, it was a sad day for me yesterday. One of my cousins died, and it sort of shortens the line of people in my family, and it's particularly shortened because none of us in my age group had children. And so when we go, it'll be the end of this part of the family. Isn't that scary? That none of us had children. Really weird. Anyway, it is what it is. So I got that bit of news yesterday, and that was, as I said, particularly sad. And then I got another email that was fascinating. Well, it was fascinating to me. And it was one of these, almost you just send, if you don't send it on type things. But it actually contained a very, very useful tip, I thought. So here is your tip for the day. And I haven't done one for a while. For those of you who might not have heard about this, I'm sure you'll give it a bit of thought. What it said was, whenever you're doing anything outside or whenever you go to bed at night, take your car keys with you and put them beside you. And you're going, duh, I'm going to bed, I'm not going driving. And listen to why. What it said was that if you hit a problem, hit the alarm on your car. Now, you and I both know that the first reaction most of the neighbors have is, oh my God, some idiot just set off their alarm. We know that's the first reaction. The second reaction is, after it's been going, they'll start to get annoyed and come out and see if anybody's near the car trying to fix it. And the last reaction is when they realize the car alarm is going off, and they know it's your car alarm, presumably your neighbors know who you are, or some of you do, they will then start to be concerned, like, why is this alarm going off and Sal's not coming out to turn it off? Well, actually, they know I would actually not even come out. I would just turn it off from inside the house. And so what it becomes is a warning for people that there's something wrong. Now, smart people will actually say to the neighbors, hey, if ever you hear my alarm go off and I'm not there pretty soon, it is possible I've hit it as a panic device. So please do what you can. So I think that's quite a good idea. They also suggested, if you're playing Spider-Man up on the roof or doing one of those incredibly dangerous things, take your car keys with you for the same reason. And if you get up there and, God forbid, the ladder falls, at least you can set off an alarm that will bring the neighbors. Now, I thought that was a pretty pretty good piece of advice. And so my question today in terms of our personal safety is, who do you trust with your personal safety? Now, the reason I laugh about that is because over the course of the last couple of weeks, I have accidentally knocked things over at some unearthly hour of the morning, like 2 o'clock in the morning. One day I managed to knock over my shoebox full of all my nail stuff. Now, nail stuff is bottles and metal things and tubs of nail polish remover. Yeah, not a good thing to be messing with, quite honestly. And it makes one heck of a racket at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I've done it twice. I did it twice in a week where I knocked things over. And the disadvantage of it was that nobody came to find out why. So I've got to have a little discussion this weekend with with them as to what our security arrangement's going to be, our safety arrangement's going to be if they hear it again. I need to have some sort of signal that says, hey, yes, I did it, but I'm okay. Or maybe it's the opposite. If they don't hear anything tangible, I don't know. I've got to come up with something that tells them, hey, yes, I dropped something. I am sorry, but I'm okay. Of course, you don't want to do anything for fear that you will wake them up, that maybe the big crash didn't wake them up. Well, who am I kidding? They hadn't gone to sleep yet. And you understand, Yvonne and Wade, who live in my house, they cook popcorn at 2 o'clock in the morning, so why can't I drop things? By the way, if you ever want to know what makes you really hungry, it's the smell of popcorn at 2 o'clock in the morning. You'll be amazed how many times I wake up and go, oh, that smells so good. And then I smile and turn over and go back to sleep again, imagining eating popcorn. But I just thought this was such a simple and very practical idea. Now the question is, how far away from your car can you be, and still have the remote work? And that's a test you've got to do for yourselves. But I would do it with the car doors rather than the alarm. Otherwise, you've got neighbors who are not going to like you very much that day you're doing the testing. But if the signal is strong enough to unlock your car, then the signal is also strong enough to set off the alarm. It's the way I look at it. Also, I would think useful for, let's say, I've got some friends of mine, for example, who've got quite a large house, and quite often one is upstairs and the other is downstairs. Or they've got a fully finished basement. Somebody's got all that set up. Now, they're getting older. If one had a moment, it would be a good idea to have that with you. And the question is, how do you carry keys with you and not have them on the way? Well, I guess you'd get them on a clip. That would be my recommendation. Or in my case, I have my spare set of keys on a lanyard. Something you can hang around your neck. I'm just behind a car with a very hot dog in it. A hot dog. Literally. And the car is a little beetle thing. And the dog is some mixture of golden retriever. It's quite big to be sitting in the back area. Not even on the back seat, it's in the back luggage area, if you like, of a Golf. Wonder where they're going. Or wonder where they've been. But the sun is beating down, and it's not even hot yet, it's only 8 degrees. But the sun is beating down on this dog's back, and he has no way of getting away from that sun either. Which would be why he's panting as much as he is. Or she, I'm not sure which. So I did a little bit towards the packing last night, as some of you would have seen. I decided to call the umbrella Stella the umbrella. Somebody suggested Ursula the umbrella, which I thought was cute as well. But Stella and Bella, or Bella the umbrella. Now Stella the umbrella sort of works for me because it's another S. But I bought some shoes on the way home, and that was the steal of yesterday. I popped in at Payless and they had a sale on, so that was good. So the prices were already dropped, and then I had already received an email from Payless to say that it was the anniversary of my joining them, and so there was a 10% off everything I bought as well. So I not only got the sale price, but I also got 10% off. Yay! And so I bought 2 pairs of sandals and saved myself about 26 bucks in the process, which was good. I got some Champion flip-flops. Now, Champion charge quite a bit for their flip-flops. You're talking about close to 30 bucks for a flip-flop. And you're saying that's a lot of money for a flip-flop. Yep. But there's a reason why. They're extremely comfortable. And very, very well made. And they have great cushioning under the foot. The construction of the flip-flop is more like the inside of a runner. And the pair that I bought last year or the year before, I'm amazed at how comfortable they are, and how comfortable they are to walk some distance with them as well. And so I bought a silvery pair of those because I thought that would go with almost everything I'm taking with me to Vegas. And then because I knew that I could almost get 2 for 1, I found a sandal which is a sort of white web design over the top of the foot. Very pretty. But I went home, and as I do with new shoes, what I did was I wore the one pair for about an hour. That was the Champion one, and that was fine. And then I wore the other pair for an hour, and I could feel blisters starting. So I've got to be aware that those shoes are not shoes I'm going to be walking down the strip in, but they will be just fine for wearing elsewhere around the house or so forth, if we get to do that. I'm not sure if we'll be walking barefoot in the house or not. But in other words, they're shoes that I could put in my bag, and when we get to wherever we're going, I could put them on and then take them off again to walk again. They're pretty, and they're going to be pretty painful if I'm not careful. So what I'm going to do is every night I'm going to wear them for a little while, but not enough to cause damage, hopefully, until my skin toughens up in that area. I've always found the trick with this sort of thing is be aware that this is problem's going to happen, and so wear them a little bit and then take them off and give your foot a break to heal, because automatically your foot will want to protect that area. All right. So today, my challenge to you is to think about your personal safety. How safe are you? None of us is totally safe, I understand that. But maybe look around and go, how cluttered are your exits to your house? In other words, if something terrible happened in your house, have you got a pretty clear run between you and both I'm hoping you've got at least two different exits. Or do you have things in your way? And if so, let's move those things. When you are out in the garden on your own, what if something happened to you? How would you call attention to the fact? And again, a good time to have your keys with you, out in the garden. Something happened, you could do the same thing. All right? Give it some thought. By the way, if you've got some suggestions on it, which I'm sure some of you will have, I'd be delighted to hear them. And sure that the other viewers would as well. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye for now.